Welcome to the Purpose Driven Church for Unificationists, Day 22. We are continuing on communicating your purposes. And today, Rick Warren is talking about the importance of personalizing your purpose. So, up until now, we've been talking about how to define the purpose and convey the purpose. And he's saying that in communicating the purposes of your church, it is important to personalize them. The way to personalize the purposes is to show that there is both a privilege and a responsibility connected to each of them. There are both responsibilities and privileges of being a member of the church family. So instead of simply saying that, um, you know, the purpose of the church is to create members of God's family, instead you say something kind of like, God wants me to be a member of his family, or God wants you to be a member of his family. And then to talk about, what are the benefits of that? Talk about what is the value of that for that person's life. They go on into a number of other things like, for example, God wants me to be a model of his character. And he talks about how maturity is not measured by one's learning, but by one's lifestyle. It is possible to be well versed in the Bible and still be immature spiritually. And we can see the same thing in our movement. People can be really, really knowledgeable about the divine principle and about all the different aspects of history and politics, and they can also be really well versed on Father's words and really have like a really great understanding of things like that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they can get along with their wife. It doesn't necessarily mean they know how to raise children. It doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to care about another person. So the understanding and the action and the ability have to go hand in hand. That's what spiritual maturity is. Also, that a third responsibility is the personalized purpose of service or ministry. God expects us to use the gifts, talents, and opportunities he gives us to benefit others. He's saying here that at Saddleback, they're very clear with people up front. They expect every person to have some kind of a ministry. They expect every person to be involved in some kind of activity in some way. He says they don't bait and switch. They tell them really upfront, when you give your life to Christ, you're signing up to minister in his name for the rest of your life. It's what God made you for. It's pretty cool. And then a couple other points. God wants me to be a messenger of his love. We each have a mission on earth, and part of it includes telling others about Christ. And then God wants me to be a magnifier of his name. These are the 5 purposes of their church, and then 5 ways in which they personalize them to their membership. He later goes on to just re-emphasize the privileges of being a believer, in that the church provides people with things they cannot find anywhere else in the world. Worship helps people focus on God. Fellowship helps them face life's problems. Discipline helps fortify their faith. Ministry helps them find their talents. And evangelism helps them fulfill their mission. He goes on to say that it's important to, over and over again, restate our purpose. It's not enough. We can't expect that just by giving a single sermon or by writing it down somewhere that people are going to understand. Oh, they're going to all of a sudden believe, oh yeah, I get this is our vision now, and I really believe in it. He says, don't suppose that by printing your purposes on a bulletin everyone has learned them or even read them. One widely known law of advertising is that a message must be communicated 7 times before it really sinks in. He's saying that our purposes and visions are communicated each monthly membership class. And once a year, they have an annual State of the Church message. It's always a review of our 5 purposes. It is the same message every year, only the illustrations are updated. And they have a list here of what my church family gives me. God's purpose to live for, God's people to live with, God's principles to live by, God's profession to live out, and God's power to live on. He says many pastors don't even understand the power of the pulpit. It's like a rudder that you can navigate the ship, and it will ultimately determine the direction of a church, whether intentionally or unintentionally. He says, if you are a pastor, use your pulpit on purpose. Where else do you get everyone's undivided attention on a weekly basis? Don't be afraid to repeat yourself, because nobody gets it the first time. I call repeating things over and over in fresh ways creative redundancy, which I think is an important point. Should be done in fresh ways. The vision always fades with time because people become distracted by other things, and we need to restate them on a regular basis in different ways, in different creative ways, try new ways to be able to restate and refresh our purpose so that everyone, their goal is that everybody can really uh, envision their purpose and really feel like this is my purpose and be able to share that with other people. And I think that that's definitely something that we lack and something that we need very badly in our own movement, that everybody feels and believes in this vision and purpose that we are trying to work towards and has confidence in it and believes that there's a way I and me in my own life can contribute to it. So that's all I have for today. Tomorrow we'll look at chapter 7. Thank you.